Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Tiffany. Today's practice is going to focus on building strength as well as flexibility. So let's get started standing in Tadasana. This is a really great way to just kind of start building up some energy in our body and focus on alignment. So go ahead and roll your shoulders back, away from the ears, and down. Try to kind of not really tilt your pelvis forward too far, but just try to kind of align, make sure that you're not arching the back. And just breathe. Make sure that your head and neck are right over your spine. You can close your eyes. Start breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you can use this time to set an intention. I often like to set an intention that I can carry with me through the rest of the day. Maybe your intention today is focusing on non-judgment. Maybe it's focusing on letting go of control. Whatever it might be, go ahead and use this time to set your intention. Palms facing forward, shoulders back, away from the ears, and just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. You're going to take 5 breaths here. All right, and after your last exhale, go ahead and meet me in child's pose on your mat. And let's go ahead and take extended child's pose so we can go ahead and start opening up our shoulders. So go ahead and just walk your fingertips forward. If you can, rest your forehead on the mat. I try to get right on my third eye. And then just rest your tailbone towards your heels. And then just lower your head, relax your neck, relax your head onto your yoga mat. And just breathe. You should be feeling a little bit of a stretch in the back of your shoulders. You might even be feeling a little bit in your hips if your hips are tight. You might be feeling a little bit of pressure. Try to just breathe into that. And with your next exhale, go ahead and walk your hands gently over to the right. We're just going to take a very gentle side twist. Breathe. We'll just take a few more breaths here. On your next exhale, go ahead and walk your hands back to center. Inhale. And on your next exhale, walk your hands over to the left, gently. And again, we'll just kind of start opening up that side body, nice shoulder opener. Just breathe into it. Notice where you're feeling any sensation. Try to send your breath there to relax whatever it is that might be blocking you. Just breathe.
On your next exhale, go ahead and walk your hands back to center. When you're ready, let's meet in tabletop.
Go ahead and just push up at the tabletop, putting your hands directly under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Keep your spine neutral. And just breathe here for a moment. On your next exhale, go ahead and round the back to cat pose. Breathe in, count. And we'll do a few rounds of this. Every inhale and exhale, arching the spine. Inhale, lift your head and neck forward. Don't strain them, just inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Follow your breath, go at your own pace. Try and keep your shoulders away from your ears. Hands directly under your shoulders. Knees directly under your hips. All right, and then when you're ready, let's go ahead and reach back into extended child's pose. And then we'll go ahead and transition into cobra or sphinx, whichever is more comfortable for you. So you can be here, you can be here, whatever you prefer. And then just transition back into child's pose. And we'll do a few more rounds of this. Inhale, extend, exhale, back into child's pose. Resting the forehead on the mat in between. Inhale. Exhale. Drawing those hips back onto those heels. Last thing to stop moving should be the forehead to the mat. Inhale. Roll forward. Exhale. One more. This is a really great way to warm up the spine. Inhale. Exhale. All right, when you're ready, let's meet back in tabletop. And go ahead and push into downward dog. Since this is our first downward dog, you might be feeling a little tight in your calves. Go ahead and just walk your dog if you need to. You can alternate raising your heels. If you want to kind of add a little side stretch that feels good for you, you can go ahead and do that as well. You might want to go ahead and try and look up under your shoulder towards the ceiling. Follow your breath. All right, whenever you're ready, go ahead and step forward, bringing your right foot in between your hands. Then bring your left foot to meet it, slowly rolling up. Raising our hands to the sky and then bringing them together. Lowering to the heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale, lowering through your heart. This time, let's go all the way down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale. Back into plank. Go ahead and lower down. Take our first vinyasa. Exhale into downward dog. And just breathe here for a moment. We're just getting warmed up. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and raise your right leg. Just hold it there and breathe for a moment. Press into your palms. Press into that left foot. Try and see if you can bring your heel to the mat. Keep your right hip lowered. Try not to let it raise. It'll tend to want to kind of twist this way. You want to kind of try to bring it back down towards your mat. Press back, keeping that spine lengthened. Really rooting through your palms, keeping the spine and keeping your spine strong. Breathe. Go ahead and lower. Inhale. Exhale, other side. Lift. Inhale. Hold your leg to the sky and just breathe. You can point the toes if you prefer. You can arch your heel if you prefer, whatever is more comfortable for you. I like to kind of switch it up just to see how it feels. Play around with different positions. And at any point, if this becomes too intense, you're welcome to take child's pose. Lower. All right, and go ahead and step your right foot in between your hands again. All the way down. Lift halfway. Plank, chaturanga. Whatever variation of chaturanga works for you, feel free to take that. If you'd like to take half plank, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to chaturanga with one leg up, you're welcome to do that as well. Whenever you're ready, step, hop, or float forward. Halfway, over. Back into plank. Lower into and downward dog. This time, go ahead and raise your right leg and bend your knee. Stack your hips. This should feel a nice stretch on the side body. And if you want to, you can go ahead and flip your dog. From here, we will move into side plank. So keep your right hand directly under your, keep your left hand directly under your left shoulder. Really tighten through the core. Stack your right foot over your left foot and try to raise your hips to the ceiling. And just breathe here for a moment. If you can lift one knee, maybe raise one hand up. And then try and step your right foot down, bringing the right palm into the inside of the right foot. And then lower your left knee down to the mat. And we'll take lizard pose. So if you want, you can stay here. If you want, you can also use a block. If you want to try and go down on your elbows, but maybe the mat's a little farther than you'd like it to be at this point. And go ahead and open your foot and try to rest it on the outside edge of your right foot and kind of open the leg a little bit as well, and that'll kind of help you get a deeper stretch. And just breathe here for a moment. It's a really great hip opener. All right, and let's come back up and keep your left hand on the mat. Put your right foot back so that it's directly on the mat, no longer on the side. And reach your right hand back. Try to lift your left foot into your right hand. Don't pull your right foot back. Try to actually lift it into your hand, and you should get a nice deep stretch in the psoas here. And just hold this and breathe for a moment. If you want to lower to your elbow for a deeper stretch, you can do that as well. And look up towards the sky and just really try to open up the shoulders, open the chest. Breathe. Slowly lower your foot back to the floor. Bring your right hand, if you're on your elbow, raise back and bring both hands to the mat. And step your right foot back to meet your left, back into plank, and lower into chaturanga. And we'll meet again in downward dog. Take a moment to catch your breath here. 3 rounds of breath, and then we'll do the left side. Might feel good to kind of roll onto your toes here. Go ahead and do that, whatever feels good for you. You don't have to stay still, you can move around. So try to follow your breath. And on your next inhale, raise your left leg to the sky, stack your hip. Breathe. And then let's go ahead and slightly turn our foot that's on the floor and lower into wild thing. So we're flipping our dog again. Breathe. All right, and then step your left foot to meet your right, and we'll hold plank here for a moment. If you can, raise your hand to the ceiling, and if you can, lift your left knee, and then we'll slowly bring it back up to the mat. And then go ahead and step your left foot back to meet your right into plank, and then we'll take another chaturanga. All right, and go ahead and step your left foot forward in between your hands and lower your right knee down. Bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot, and we'll go ahead and lower down and take lizard's pose on this side. If you can, lower to your elbows. You can use a block if you need a little lift. I tend to use a block on this side because I'm kind of somewhere in between. I'm not quite able to get onto the floor with my elbows, but I'd like a deeper stretch. I'm ready for a little bit more. So this is kind of like that in-between step, if you will. And just breathe. All right, and then go ahead and press your right hand to the floor. Bring your right foot to meet your left hand. And open up that psoas on the right side. And if you want to just kind of open up that left knee, pressing the outside of your foot onto the mat. Gives you a little bit more space. And again, you can walk your hand forward and gently lower onto your elbow if you want a deeper stretch on the side as well. And just breathe here. And try to look up towards the sky. Up over your left shoulder. Try to just create as much space in your chest as you can. And just breathe. All right, and then gently lower your foot back down to the floor. Raise back and step back into plank. We'll take another vinyasa. Tabletop. And go ahead and lift your left leg behind you, raising it. I'm sorry, actually, first go ahead and extend it back behind you, tapping your toes to the back of your mat. Kind of just gain some balance here. And then flex your foot as you raise your heel up and just lift. Try to keep the hips squared. Try not to let your left hip raise up too much with that left foot. Try and just keep it centered, squared with the right hip. And when you feel steady here, with, again, both hands stacked underneath your shoulders, you're going to want to go ahead and just lift your right hand out in front of you and extend it. Two-legged table. Just breathe. You might want to find a focal point on the mat just to kind of help keep your balance. And then with your next exhale, lower. Other side. Extend your right foot to the back of your mat. Tap your toes, raising your heel towards, pointing your heel towards the sky, toes on the mat. Tap them there. Gain your footing here. And when you're ready, lift your heel up. Again, try to keep the hips in balance with each other. Try not to lift the hip with the foot. And when you're ready, when you feel comfortable here, go ahead and lift your left arm out, hand extended forward, and hold. Again, two-legged tabletop, other side, and just breathe. Exhale, lower. And when you're ready, push back into down dog. Exhale. Inhale, and we'll just take a few rounds of breath here. You might want to walk your dog, stretch out the back of the calves, get a nice stretch in the back of the legs here. Maybe try lengthening the spine, really root down through the palms. And maybe even add a little bit of a side stretch here to kind of start opening up that side body. Just follow your breath. I like to add a little side stretch and you can kind of look up towards the sky. And just breathe. You don't have to stay still here. If it feels good to move around, go ahead and move around. Whatever feels good for you. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and step forward, bringing your right foot in between your hands, and lower your left knee to the mat. Untuck your toes, and we're going to raise up into a low lunge. And just breathe here. Try to see if you can get a little bit of a back bend. And then your next exhale, lower down. Bringing your right foot back to meet your left, chaturanga. If you want to start off with your knees on the mat, you're welcome to do that, whatever's comfortable for you. And then push back into down dog. Your next exhale, step your left foot forward in between your hands and lower your right knee to the mat. Lift up. Breathe here. Try to see, get a little bit of a back bend. Just start opening up your chest and adding some flexibility to the spine here. Exhale, lower. Bringing your left hand back, your left foot to meet your right. Chaturanga. Two more breaths here. Your next exhale, go ahead and step, hop, or float forward. And this time, bring your left foot to meet your right. And inhale, going all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Up again. This time, extending all the way down, forward fold. Now, this is our first forward fold, so let's try to get comfortable here for a minute. Make sure that your knees are bent and your abdomen is pressed against the top of your thighs here. And try to relax your neck and your spine. Relax your shoulders. The whole point here is to really get a nice stretch in our thoracic spine. And we'll also be getting a nice stretch in our hamstrings as well, but it's our first forward fold. It might be a little tighter. So let's just kind of ease into it. Let our body kind of warm up. You might want to kind of walk it out a little bit if you want to kind of straighten one leg and then the other to add a little bit of intensity. You're welcome to do that. Go ahead and grab alternate elbows and just hang here for a moment. Go ahead and shake your head no, nod your head yes. Lower your hands back to the floor and roll all the way up, bringing your hands up to the sky. Back through heart center. Again. This time folding all the way down, lifting halfway, and then stepping back into plank. Lower into chaturanga. And let's meet in down dog. This time with your next exhale, go ahead and step, hop, or float. You can either step with your left foot or hop forward. And then raise halfway, lower down. Inhale all the way up. Lower your hands through heart center. Up again. This time forward fold all the way down. We're going to hang here for another moment. And this time, go ahead and see if you can actually try and get your hands underneath your feet. Give yourself a nice little wrist massage here. Just kind of hang out here for a moment. And just breathe. You can wiggle your toes and kind of stimulate your hands and wrists if you want. Give yourself a nice massage. Feels good. Just breathe. Go ahead and release. All the way up. Hand through heart center. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale. Lower all the way down. Step back into plank. And lower. Meeting in downward dog again. At any point, if you need to take a break and take a child's pose, feel free. Always listen to your body. If you need to take a water break, feel free to do that as well. And just always follow what your body is telling you. Everyone's body is going to be different, and everybody's body is going to look different in poses. So don't try to look like me. I don't try to look like you. Just try to do what feels right, not what you think looks good. That's my best advice to avoid injuries in yoga. All right, and when you're ready, go ahead and step, hop or float forward. Lift halfway, exhale, fold all the way up. Hands through heart center. go ahead and take a wide-legged forward fold. Go ahead and open your legs to either side of the mat and place your hands on your hips. Try and keep your tailbone neutral and activate your quads. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and slowly bend forward. Placing your hands on the mat and below you. Lower your head and relax your neck and your spine. You can take your peace fingers and you can grab your, if you can grab your big toes, go ahead and do that and lower down. Try to lower the crown of your head towards the mat. You can use your arms to pull yourself if that helps as well. And you should be feeling a really nice stretch in the back of your legs here. And just breathe. And try not to round the spine. Try to keep the spine neutral and really just kind of pull yourself forward here if you can. Extending the crown towards the ground. Breathe. Bring your hands back to center below you. And when you're ready, bring your left hand to your left hip. And gently, without dumping into your hips, we're going to take a nice twist in our abdomen and our side body here. So we'll just twist and try to just kind of open up as much as you can. And then once you get to where it feels right without having to use too much force from your hips, try to remember keep those hips as neutral as possible. And just keep twisting from the spine. And then when you get comfortable, you can try to raise your hand. It's not going to be straight to the sky. It's probably going to be, it could be many different places, but don't worry about where it lands. Just go with what feels good and just breathe. Go ahead and lower. Exhale. On your next in-breath, raise your right hand to your hip. And again, you're going to keep your left hand on the mat. And what we're doing here again is we're just kind of twisting. So we're not moving our hips so much. We're really twisting we're twisting from up here, not down here, if you will. So keep your left hand on the mat, right hand on your hip. Try to keep your hips neutral. They naturally, you're going to want to go like that. Try to kick it back. And then gently just kind of twist. And then when you are ready, you can extend your arms. Your hip's going to come up a little bit. That's normal, but the whole point is to just kind of try not to. And eventually you'll just go deeper and deeper and deeper into the pose. And lower. On your next exhale, lower. And go ahead and, okay. Now from here, we will go ahead and walk our feet together. Go ahead and slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time, until we come to a standing position. Roll your shoulders back. Let's go ahead and just kind of do a few shoulder rolls here. And then the other direction. All right. Now, whenever you are ready, let's go ahead and step back towards the top of our mat and facing forward. And we're going to go ahead and go through another sun salutation series with chair pose. So let's go ahead and get started in chair pose, just to kind of get warmed up. So go ahead and, if you can, lower your hands to the mat and just kind of go into your chair pose. And just breathe. All right, and now lower down. Lift halfway. Lower. Chaturanga. We're going to start moving a little bit faster. So on your next exhale, go ahead and step, hop, or float forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale into chair pose. Breathe. See if you can see your toes. See if you can lift your toes. Try and keep your spine as straight as possible while lowering into a seated position behind you. And just keep breathing. Bring your hands to heart center. We're going to go ahead and take a twist. So go ahead and bring your right elbow, if you can, to the outside of your left thigh and twist and hold here and breathe. And look back and just breathe. Remaining in chair pose. Try to keep your hips neutral. Your hips going to naturally want to lift as you twist. Try to keep it down. And breathe. It's going to lift a little bit, but just do your best. Back to neutral. Other side. Breathe. Back to neutral, lower down. Vinyasa. On your next exhale, step, hop, or float forward. Halfway, lower. Lift into chair pose. Three rounds of breath here. Lower. Step back into plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Downward dog. Breathe. We'll take one more round of that with chair pose. So go ahead and step, hop, or float forward. Halfway, lift, lower. Rise into chair pose. Hold and breathe. 3 rounds of breath here. Lower. Inhale. Exhale. Feel free to always go at your own pace, following your own breath. And just breathe here. We'll take 3 rounds of breath and down dog to kind of catch our breath. Not really catch our breath here, but slow it down rather. And after your third exhale, lower your knees and we'll take child's pose for a moment. All right, let's meet back in tabletop. And go ahead and push up into plank from here. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and plank. And go ahead and bring your right knee to meet your right elbow. Step it back. Left knee to left elbow. Step it back. Right knee to right elbow. Step it back. Follow your breath. Left knee to left knee to left elbow. Step it back. Right knee to right elbow. And this time lower to the wrist. Bring it back to the elbow. Step it back. Left knee to left elbow. Lower to the wrist. Bring it back to the elbow. Step it back. Keep going at your own breath, at your own pace. And we'll do 5 more on each side. I don't know why I said that. But we're doing it now. Because you can. Lower your knees. Ooh. All right, we back in tabletop. And so we're in tabletop. And now what we're going to do is we are going to have a seat on our bottoms and go ahead and just slowly roll back onto the ground. And what we'll do from here is we'll do some more core work. So we just kind of started getting the core activated, and now we're going to go ahead and get a little bit deeper into these core muscles. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a couple yogi push-ups to start. So go ahead and raise your hands above your head. Try to let all the air out. Every last drop of air you have. And then I'm going to show you before we do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale, so all your air is out, right? And we're going to put our arms down. Inhale. And then as we lean forward, we're going to exhale and blow all of that air out. Very forcefully. So we're actually forcing all of the air out, letting everything go. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, lower back down to the mat. You should really feel this in your core. Go as slow as possible. Bring your hands back above your head. And exhale all the air out. Inhale. Exhale. Hold. Arms above your head. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale all the air out. Might help if you just go get it all out, every last little drop of whatever you don't want in there anymore. Just get it out, shake it out your lips. All right, and then again, slowly roll back. Now, go ahead and take your knees up to the sky, almost as if we're gonna go into Happy Baby, but we're not. We're just kind of just hanging out here with our knees towards the sky. And then what we're gonna do, kind of like a bug on our back right now is the best way to explain it. And when you're laying here out, and raise your knees towards the sky, and flex your feet, raise your arms towards the sky as well. And what we're gonna do here is try to kind of bend your legs back just far enough so that you get a little bit of like a round in your spine here. When you put your hands under your spine, I want you to actually be able to kind of crush them, like not in a painful way, but don't let there be any space there. So your hands, your back should be completely down. There should not be a gap for your hands to slide under. So like right now my back is pressing pretty hard against my hands here. There's no space. So you want to keep your core activated, and go ahead and keeping that same sensation in your core, in your center here. Just go ahead and keep all these muscles activated and raise your hands towards the sky, and bring your knees closer towards your elbows. And you should already be feeling this. If you're not cheating and you're activating your body where I showed you, then you will be really feeling this even just right here. And if you want it a little deeper, you can kind of lift your shoulders up off the ground, kind of raise up, and try and see if you can even lower your knees a little lower. Try to get them closer to your armpits if you can. So we're basically doing crow pose, but on our backs. And this is just to really build a lot of core strength and prep you for crow pose. Breathe. Now, take your right leg. Do not relax at all. You're still activating your core. You're still using all of your strength here. And you're going to go ahead and just slowly extend your right leg out. Exhale. Breathe. It should not be easy. Just try to straighten that leg out and hold here.
On your next exhale, bring it back slowly. We're gonna do the other side. I accidentally cheated there. If you cheat for a second, just try to get back into the right position because your body's naturally gonna wanna cheat and you have to force it not to. If your neck is getting tight like mine is, just lower it, it's fine. Just keep your core active. And then extend your left leg out. Or if you exhale, it's a lot easier. Flexing that foot, bring it back in. All right, and then go ahead and lower. All right, you should feel pretty good there. All right, now let's go ahead and walk our feet back to meet our fingertips, back of our heels to meet our fingertips. And we're gonna go ahead and take bridge pose to go ahead and stretch out all of these muscles. And so whenever you're ready, just breathe, keep the spine neutral. Make sure that your fingertips are touching the back of your heels. So make sure that your fingertips are touching the back of your heels. And then take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, lower your hips to the sky. If you need to use a block to support you in this position, feel free. You can go ahead and place a block under you. That's fine as well. And just breathe. But you want to be lifting your hips up, trying to raise them to the sky. Try to clasp your hands underneath you as well. This is also a really great shoulder opener. You can kind of roll your shoulders underneath you. And keep pulling, lifting your hips towards the ceiling. Breathe. And go ahead and lower. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and actually take one more round. This time, you can either do bridge or you can do wheel, depending on whatever's in your practice. So whenever you are ready, go ahead and get into another, go ahead and either on your next, on your next exhale, go ahead and take bridge pose again. Or if you want to take wheel with me, again, keep your heels close to the back of your fingertips. Only this time, take your hands and put them up behind your shoulders. And then whenever you're ready, we're just gonna go ahead and lift. And breathe. You can walk your feet out, create a little bit more space. Go ahead and try and do that. And lower down into next exhale. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Now go ahead and place your feet onto the outside edges of your mat, knocking your knees together. And just relax here for a moment. You can place your hands towards the sky. And just breathe. Just taking some of the pressure off of our spine. All right, and then with your next exhale, bring your knees in to meet your chest. And try to bring your nose up to meet your knees. Breathe. Keeping your right leg, just give yourself a hug. And then continue hugging your right leg while you extend your left leg down to the mat. It's not going to touch the ground probably, but it's just going to kind of just hover right above it. You want to just hover it like an inch above the floor if you can. And just rest here, keeping your head and spine neutral. I'm sorry, I should have said go ahead and lower your head and go ahead and lower your head to the mat. All right, and then bring your left leg back in. Give yourself another big hug. And lower the right leg out this time. Continue hugging your left leg. Lower your head back down to the mat and just lay here for a moment. Try to keep your feet flexed, sorry. or at least the bottom. Honestly, whatever's comfortable for you. I don't think it matters actually. Flex pointed. Whatever makes you feel better. I like to keep my bottom foot flexed. Gives me a little bit more leverage, and then it just makes me feel stronger. And then go ahead and give yourself another hug. Lower your feet back down to the mat. This time we're going to go ahead and take our right foot and place it onto our left knee. And we're going to do a nice hip opener here. So we're going to actually be doing a variation of pigeon. And I believe it's reverse pigeon because we're actually laying on our backs. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just try to open up your knee as much as you can. I'm a runner. Mine don't open as much as I'd like them to yet, but we're working on it. And then bring your hands behind your left leg, pull it in towards you, and you can use your elbow as leverage to kind of keep that right knee a little bit more open and breathe. You should feel a really nice stretch here on the hips, and you might even feel a little something inside of the right leg as well. And just breathe here. You can rock a little to the left, see if that changes the sensation maybe. Maybe point and flex your foot, see if that changes anything. Maybe lean a little to the right, and then maybe just rock. Whatever feels good to you, do that. You don't have to stay still, you can move around. When you're ready, lower your left foot to the ground. Lower your right foot to the ground, and then switch sides. Leave your hands back and grab that right thigh, pulling it towards you. Use your left elbow as leverage to pull open your left knee, keeping your left heel on that right knee. And breathe. Try to pull your right thigh as close to you as possible. And again, if you want to wiggle, move side to side, rock back and forth. Whatever feels good for you, go for it. Roll your right leg, and then your left. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and extend our legs and move into Shavasana. So this is where we final resting pose. So go ahead and extend your legs in front of you. Get as comfortable as you can. If you need to move your booty cheeks out of the way, go for it. Whatever helps you get into your most comfortable corpse pose. Keep the shoulders away from the ears and try to just kind of lower the arms, lower the hands. And just rest here and breathe. Try to let go of anything you might be holding on to from practice. Maybe you didn't go as deep into a pose today as you did yesterday, and that's okay. Our bodies are different every day. They do different things depending on what's going on. Always have gratitude for your body no matter where you're at that day, that week, that year, that cycle in your life. Maybe you're recovering from an injury. Give yourself compassion. Just breathe. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and roll to your side.
And take a moment or two here. Whenever you're ready, keeping your eyes closed into a seated position. Your hands are at center. Pull and clasp together by taking the final round of Om. Thank you for joining me today.